October 2018 marks 10 years of hate5six, and I thought it would be cool to start doing monthly recap videos where I basically sit down in front of the camera, go through a list of all the bands that I filmed, what videos released, what were the most watched videos, any other interesting news, things like that. So let's get into it. A lot of viewers have been asking for new hate5six merch, so I went ahead and printed some stuff. The story behind this is pretty interesting. A viewer named Jagat Suri in Indonesia, about like a couple months ago, he sent me a picture that he drew of me, which I thought was pretty cool. We got hate5six t-shirts, we got stickers, I had enamel pins made, and we also had banners made as well. One thing that I'm doing is I'm donating 8.56% of all the merch sales to an organization called Lifeline. Lifeline provides education, hotline services, resources, all types of help and assistance to people in the trans community nationwide. I'll put a link below to both Lifeline so you can read more about what they're doing, and also to the merch store as well. There's also old stickers and old designs that I have up there as well, so yeah, if you want to pick something up, that'll help. One of the reasons that I'm selling merch is because it's expensive to run this project. I'm working on a video right now where I walk through the process of building a new server. After 10 years of running the site, I have over 40 or 50 terabytes worth of video, and I'm running out of space. Cloud storage is not really a viable solution, so I'm building a local, redundant backup system. It's gonna allow me to store up to 60 terabytes. So look for that video soon. It's gonna be a pretty informative walkthrough about more of the technical stuff that goes behind the scenes at hate5six. Similarly, the hate5six Patreon has been going pretty rapidly. I'm finally roughly near the 1,200 subscriber mark. You're making it possible for me to keep doing this regularly. You're making it possible for me to start expanding it and doing things with hate5six that we've never seen before. In December, I'll be going on tour with Jesus Piece to Japan, which is pretty great. I have a lot of viewers in Japan and starting to get more Patreon support there as well. So I'll have the opportunity to film a lot of local Japanese hardcore bands like Loyal to the Grave and Numb and Palm, Coffins, Blindside, Friendship, and more. I'll be doing some Patreon exclusive content as well. I'm hoping to do like a documentary style mini series with the band where every day I post like a daily recap video of the stuff that we did, the stuff that we saw, the people that we met, and things like that. If you're not familiar with the hate5six Patreon, stop it! Basically how it works is if you pledge a certain amount of money per month, you're not only supporting the project and making it possible for me to keep doing this and expanding it, but you're also getting exclusive content in return. This month, the hate5six Patreon was pretty active. I posted a lot of early access content, so the early access videos are full sets that haven't been released to the public, but they go to Patreon first. I also released 4 slow burn episodes. Slow burn is basically recordings from This Is Hardcore that were filmed at 180 frames per second. Really cinematic, high-speed, slow-motion videos of Raw Brigade and One King Down, Year of the Knife, and Jesus Piece. I also released drum cam videos of Vane and Candy. So if you're a drummer or you're someone who just likes watching drum cam videos, you can actually watch Vane and Candy from This Is Hardcore, and I actually have a couple sets up from previous months as well that you can go on and check out. I released a new episode of Rewind. Rewind is a new series where I sit down with a band and we watch one of their videos that I filmed, and we talk about any funny stories or any interesting moments about the set. This month I released a video with Zeta. Zeta is from Venezuela. They have a very interesting story. They've been touring the United States nonstop for 2 years, and they've been unable to go home because of a lot of the economic and political turmoil that's happening back home. So that episode of Rewind is, I think, about over an hour long, and we talk a lot about what's going on back home and why they're unable to see their family and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. So I also kicked off a series called Rough Cuts. Rough Cuts are for producer level subscribers on Patreon, and they're director's cuts or literally rough cuts of videos from This Is Hardcore. Single camera, without any soundboard recording. These are for folks who really want to watch these videos, but they don't want to wait for me to finish producing the final edit. This month I released full sets for Vane, Trail of Lies, Shattered Realm, and Shark Attack, so be sure to check that out. This month was pretty busy. I filmed, I think, about 64 or 65 full sets. In New York, I traveled up to Albany for the One King Down homecoming show. Depending on when I post this video on YouTube, I'll have released somewhere between 41 to 47 full sets. So pretty active month. Now that hate5six is full-time, I'm able to post 1 or 2 videos a day, which is great. So every day there's a lot of content. Let's quickly go through the top 10 most watched videos that were posted this month on the hate5six YouTube. First up, to no one's surprise, was Jesus Piece from This Is Hardcore. As of today, that video has roughly 18,000 views. This is right before they released the LP, Only Self. And I think they play a couple songs off that record, and it's pretty great. They're sort of, what's cool about this video, this set in particular, is that you can tell that they're sort of at a transition period. They're beginning to leave some of the older material behind, and they're introducing the crowd to stuff off the LP that's out now on Southern Lord. So check that out. It's a pretty high energy set, and it's no surprise that video got so much love that it did. Next up is Mighty Mighty Boss Tunes from the Jimmy Gestapo benefit. This is a benefit show, obviously, for Jimmy Gestapo of Murphy's Law, who's had some medical issues. This video has roughly 15,000 hits. A lot of people were excited to see this video on hate5six because it's filmed in my typical style, where I'm standing on the side of the stage and I'm panning between the band and crowd. I had a ambient microphone running, my typical setup. I also got a soundboard recording as well, a very simple stereo soundboard feed. I had Len Carmichael from Landmine Studios do his best to mix those audio sources together, and I thought it was pretty great how he was able to pull that off. The third most watched video this month was Year of the Knife from This Is Hardcore. This video has roughly 14,500 views. This was easily the most ridiculous Year of the Knife set I've seen. If you've been following hate5six for the last couple months, you've probably seen there's been a bunch of Year of the Knife content. And this was, like I said, by far one of the most remarkable performances they've had in a while. I actually sat down with Year of the Knife a couple weeks ago, and we watched this set and another set from August for a new episode of hate5six Rewind, so look for that in a couple weeks, probably early to mid-November. Next up is Redbait. This is the third most watched video on the hate5six YouTube channel, and it caused quite a bit of stir both in the YouTube comments and on the Instagram feed as well. There's no band out there like Redbait. They have two women vocalists who are going back and forth and singing very chaotically and very aggressively, and at points during the set, like attacking one another. It's very interesting from a representations perspective because we don't necessarily see that quite often in hardcore and punk. So it's cool that video got so much traffic, and even though that video got a lot of negative, I don't want to say a lot, but even though that video got some negativity in the comments, it really boosted up the visibility of that post, and it actually exposed a lot more people to that video. So definitely check them out.
The Gavin McGinnis jerk-off from the Proud Boys had mentioned us on his podcast in favorable light. Now, for a lot of bands, a lot of people, that might be a good thing, thinking, well, hey, we got some free publicity out of this guy, and thank him. Fuck that.
Next up was an At the DriveIn recording. This was a recording from August 1999 that was sent to me. This was right before Via came out, and so I got this tape in the mail from a viewer, and I cleaned it up and posted it. It's really cool to see At the DriveIn at their peak. Up next is Trapped Under Ice. The stage was super narrow, so I was literally standing at the front of the crowd, sort of crouched down on the stage, holding my camera up. Was not a good idea. I got stage doved on top of, got my camera hit a couple times. I actually broke a piece of the microphone, but it still works. It's a little fucked up. And same with my my viewfinder. It's a little loose now because I got hit. But it was worth it. It's what you expect from Trapped Under Ice playing a hometown show. Next up is Candy. This is actually a video that I posted yesterday, and it already has close to 2,000 views. And this is a video that I filmed back in Philly on October 16th. This is during the Terror Total Retaliation tour. This video got a lot of hype, and I think a lot of people are finding out about Candy for the first time, which is cool. They just put out a new record, I think. I think they put it out this month, so check that out. I'll put a link to that. I'll put a link to that below as well. Again, this is from the Jimmy Gestapo benefit in September. It's what you expect from Killing Time. It's always fun. It's always great. Crowd goes off, so check that one out as well. That's it for my monthly recap. November is going to be pretty busy. The first weekend of November, I'm actually going to be in LA. Patreon invited me to attend a private workshop / meet and greet with other creators. It'll be a good way of exchanging ideas with each other and figuring out what other creators have done to grow their channel, or what have they offered their subscribers as well. So I think that'll be a cool way to hear from other people, because I think we're entering a new era where it's becoming possible for content creators and artists to actually pursue their passions and do it without having to juggle a 9 to 5. So that'll be interesting. Towards the middle of the month, I'll be going on tour with Darkest Hour and Damnation AD, one of my favorite bands. I'll be traveling with them for about a week, hopefully filming all the shows along the way. That about wraps it up. Hopefully this was cool. Again, the idea of these monthly recaps is to sit down and talk about all the cool stuff that happened over the last month and give viewers a outline of anything that they've missed. So until next month, I'll talk to you guys soon.